You've been staring at that phone for 20 minutes, wondering why it's face down on the nightstand again. You tell yourself you're being paranoid. You tell yourself they're just tired, or work is crazy, or maybe you're just too much. But that knot in your stomach, that's not anxiety. That's your body screaming a truth your brain is too scared to admit. You're scanning the room for signs of life in a relationship that's already been hollowed out from the inside. Most people think a cheater is someone who gets caught because they got sloppy, left a receipt in a pocket, or stopped caring about you. But the cold, hard reality is that the most dangerous cheaters are actually overachievers. They become more present, more helpful, and more perfect right before the bomb drops. This over-the-top behavior is a psychological smokescreen designed to make you gaslight yourself instead of questioning their loyalty. You've been told that if someone is cheating, the relationship must be broken or dead. That's a total lie. Some of the most calculated betrayals happen while you're planning your next 10-year anniversary or holding hands at a family dinner. The real answer is much more surgical. They aren't losing interest in you. They are just balancing the books of their own guilt. They are managing your perceptions so they can keep their supply on the side without losing the comfort of the home you built for them.
Think of your partner's mind like a high-security construction site. While you're building a home together, they've secretly drafted a second set of blueprints for a life you aren't invited to. They aren't just messing around. They're managing a high-stakes logistics operation that would put a project manager to shame. You felt that tiny, cold shiver in your gut, haven't you? It's that moment when they walk into the other room to check an email, or when their phone habits change by just a fraction. It's not about the phone itself, it's about the energy shift. You start feeling like a guest in your own relationship, like you're dating a scripted, edited version of a human being. It's 9 p.m. They're sitting right next to you on the couch. They laugh at your jokes, they talk about the future, but their phone is a literal black hole. Every time it buzzes, their eyes don't just look, they react. They don't jump or act nervous because they've practiced this in the mirror. They've built box A for you and box B for their secret life, and they've become experts at switching tabs in their head. This is what Reddit calls compartmentalization, and it's the engine that runs a double life. If you feel like they're performing the role of a partner instead of actually being one, trust that feeling. They are love-bombing you just enough to keep the suspicions at bay, providing you with just enough crumbs of affection to keep you from starving.
Here is the twist that messes with everyone's head. A cheater often becomes way nicer when they start the betrayal. It's called guilt compensation. They buy you random gifts, they're suddenly more helpful with the dishes, or they're weirdly affectionate for no reason at all. They aren't doing it because they love you more, they're doing it to bribe their own conscience. If they can convince themselves they're the perfect partner to your face, then the secret they're keeping doesn't feel like a sin. It feels like a reward they've earned for being so good to you. It's a sick way of balancing the scales. They use your happiness as a shield to protect their own ego. Imagine living in a house where one wall is actually a two-way mirror. You're on one side being vulnerable, showing your true self, thinking you're alone with your person in a safe space. They are on the other side watching you, but you can't see into their room. They get the safety of your world and the cheap thrill of theirs while you're left dancing with a reflection. It's a power dynamic you never signed up for. Stop looking for who they're texting, start looking for where they are mentally. If their body is in the room but their soul feels like it's behind a glass wall, it's because it is. They are future faking, promising you a life they have no intention of delivering just to keep you in place while they explore other options. Let's talk about the why. Everyone thinks it's about sex, but it's rarely just that. It's about the mirror. A cheater is usually someone with a massive, sucking hole in their identity that they try to fill with the gaze of a stranger. With you, they are real. You know their flaws, their bad days, and their history. That's boring to a fragile, narcissistic ego. They want to be the new, shiny version of themselves again, and they need a new person who doesn't know their baggage to act as that mirror. The hardest part isn't the physical act, it's realizing that while you were being real, they were being tactical. You were playing for the team, they were playing a solo game of chess where you were just a pawn to be moved.
Have you noticed the defensive attack? You ask a simple, innocent question like, "How was your day?" or "Who was that calling so late?" And they snap back with, "Why are you always interrogating me? Don't you trust me? Your insecurity is ruining us." This is the oldest trick in the book. It's called DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. They turn their guilt into your insecurity. By making you the crazy one, they become the victim of your lack of trust. It's a total mind game designed to keep you busy defending your own sanity while they keep deleting their browser history in the bathroom. It's a psychological flip that buys them time and keeps you off balance. Cheating isn't a mistake. Spilling coffee is a mistake. Forgetting to buy milk is a mistake. Cheating is a series of thousands of tiny, deliberate choices made over days, weeks, or months. It's the choice to put the phone face down. It's the choice to hide a contact under a fake name like Pizza Hut or Mike from work. It's the choice to stay late when the office is empty. It's a marathon of deception, not a sprint of bad luck. Their integrity isn't a solid object. It's a piece of paper that they've been slowly shredding for a long time. By the time you find the pieces, the structural integrity of who they are has already collapsed. They didn't fall into bed with someone else. They climbed a mountain of lies to get there. Ask yourself this: if they treated a business partner the way they treat your heart, would they still have a job? If they lied to their boss the way they lie to you, would they be fired on the spot? If the answer is yes, then why are you still their CEO? Why are you still funding a company that's stealing from you every single day? You aren't insecure or paranoid. You are reacting to a very real, very present threat. Your intuition isn't a bug in your system. It's the security alarm that's been going off for months while you've been trying to find the off switch. You are being gaslit, made to believe that the things you see with your own eyes aren't real. The reason they can sleep like a baby while you're up at 3 a.m. scrolling through phone bills or credit card statements is because they've convinced themselves that what you don't know can't hurt you. They tell themselves, "I'm still a good person because I'm home for dinner and I paid the mortgage." They live in an emotional fog of their own making. But energy doesn't lie. You can feel the coldness even when they're hugging you. You can feel the distance even when they're right next to you in bed. It's like trying to hold on to a ghost. Your hands just go right through them because they aren't really there. Look at the stories they tell. Not the ones they tell you, but the ones they tell about you to others. Does your partner make you sound like the villain to their friends or coworkers? Do they complain about how controlling, unstable, or frigid you are? This is called preemptive justification. They are painting a picture of you as the bad guy so that when they finally get caught, they have a built-in excuse for their flying monkeys, the people they use to spread their version of the truth. They'll say, "Well, look at how they treated me. I had to find comfort elsewhere." They are setting the stage for their own innocence before the curtain even rises on the betrayal. The biggest sign you've been missing is the loss of healthy conflict. A partner who actually gives a damn about the relationship will fight with you. They'll argue, they'll get frustrated, they'll try to fix things because they care about the outcome and the future of the bond. A cheater, however, often stops fighting altogether. They become weirdly chill or indifferent to things that used to cause friction. Why bother fixing a house you've already checked out of? If they suddenly don't care about the things that used to bother them, it's because they've already moved their emotional furniture into another apartment. They aren't peaceful, they're just gone.
Betrayal is like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it at first. You keep driving, thinking everything is fine. Maybe the car feels a little off, but you dismiss it. But eventually, the rubber wears thin and you're driving on the metal rims, throwing sparks everywhere. You're trying to steer, but the car won't respond because the connection is severed. The leak happened miles ago, back when you first felt that weird vibe that you dismissed as being crazy.
Look at your hands right now. Are they shaking? That's your body telling you the truth that your mind is too terrified to accept. It's time to stop looking for proof and start looking at the pattern. The proof isn't in a text message, it's in the way you feel when you're alone in a room with them. If you do catch them, get ready for the trickle truth. This is the most exhausting, soul-crushing part of the whole experience. They'll admit to a little bit, just enough to make you stop asking questions. We just talked. It was only one time. It didn't mean anything. I was drunk. It's like peeling an onion made of acid. Every layer they give you makes you cry more, and you realize there's still more rot underneath. They aren't being honest, they are just managing the damage to their reputation. They're giving you the smallest amount of truth possible to keep you from leaving until they decide what they want to do. This is where the gaslighting reaches its peak. They'll tell you that your memory is wrong, that you're remembering things differently, or that you're taking it out of context. They want you to doubt your own eyes and ears so they can keep their box B safe and hidden. It's a form of psychological warfare that leaves you feeling like you're losing your mind and your grip on reality. But you aren't losing your mind. You are losing your blindfold, and it hurts like hell because the light is finally hitting your eyes after years of darkness. You're starting to see the monkey branching, how they've been holding on to you with one hand while reaching for the next person with the other, making sure they never have to fall.
A cheater doesn't respect the relationship, but more importantly, they don't respect you. They think they are smarter than you. They think they can play you like an instrument and you'll never hear the discord. Every time they lie to your face and watch you believe it because you love them, they lose a little more respect for you. In their twisted head, they think if they were smart, they'd see what I'm doing. Since they don't, they deserve to be lied to. It's a narcissistic loop of contempt. You think you're being loyal and patient, but in their head, you're just a safe, boring harbor for their BS while they sail in dangerous waters. Think about the future faking carrots they dangled in front of you. Was it ever a real future, or was it just a stall tactic to keep you moving forward? Once I get this promotion, we'll go on that honeymoon. Once the kids are older, we'll find our spark again. These aren't promises, they are distractions. They're waiting for the perfect moment to jump to the next person without ever having to be alone or face their own shadows. They don't want to fix things. They just don't want to be the bad guy who ends it. They want you to do the dirty work of breaking up so they can tell everyone you gave up on them. Have you noticed the breadcrumbing? When you finally pull away, when you start to go gray rock and stop giving them your emotional energy, suddenly they're all over you. They send you a thinking of you text, or they bring home your favorite takeout. It's just enough to keep you on the hook. It's the minimal viable effort to keep you from leaving the supply line open. They don't want you, but they don't want anyone else to have you either. It's about control, not love. They're keeping you in the friend zone of your own marriage while they play the field. The void they're trying to fill is bottomless. You could be the most beautiful, successful, kind person on the planet, and it wouldn't be enough. Why? Because the problem isn't the food you're providing. The problem is the stomach they're trying to fill. They have a hole in their soul that they try to patch with the temporary high of a new secret. It's an addiction to the dopamine hit of being someone else's mystery. You aren't the reason they cheated, just like you aren't the reason a gambler loses money at the casino. It's a compulsion born of a refusal to do the hard work of self-reflection.
If you're waiting for an apology that feels real, stop. A cheater's apology is usually just a get-out-of-jail-free card. They say, "I'm sorry," not because they regret hurting you, but because they regret the consequences of being caught. They are sorry their life is messy now. They are sorry you're making a big deal out of it. They are sorry they have to deal with your tears. True remorse involves a radical change in behavior and a total surrender of the lies. If they are still hiding their phone while saying, "I'm sorry," they aren't sorry. They're just regrouping for the next round of deception. Stop asking, "What does the other person have that I don't?" The answer is nothing.
They don't have better hair, a better job, or a better personality. All they have is the newness. They're just the latest mirror in a long line of mirrors that the cheater will eventually break once the reflection starts showing the truth. You aren't replaceable. You're just being compared to a fantasy that doesn't exist. The other person isn't the winner here. They are just the next person in line to be lied to. The only way to win is to stop playing the game entirely. Imagine you're standing in a pitch-black room. It's cold and the air is thick with the smell of old secrets. You've been holding on to this heavy, rusted, freezing cold chain for years. You think it's the only thing keeping you anchored to the world, the only thing that proves you were loyal and strong. You're terrified that if you let go, you'll just float away into nothingness and be forgotten. You've bled for this chain. You've sacrificed your sleep, your mental health, your physical beauty, and your friends just to keep your grip tight on it. You've made being the one who stayed your entire identity. Now, imagine I walk in and flip the light switch. The sudden glare burns your eyes, but you force them open. You look down at your hands, raw and bleeding, and you realize the chain isn't even attached to an anchor. It's not holding you up. It's not protecting anything. It's attached to a person who is already halfway out the door wearing a backpack full of your trust, using your weight to keep themselves steady while they reach for the next person's hand. They aren't your anchor, they're your anchor weight. They are the thing that's been dragging you to the bottom while you thought you were swimming.
Drop the chain. Watch them stumble. Watch them realize they no longer have your strength to lean on while they play their games. The second you stop trying to solve the mystery of who they are is the second you finally start saving the person you used to be before the lies started. You aren't breaking up a family or throwing away years. You are simply stopping the theft of your own life. You are reclaiming the thousands of hours you would have spent wondering where they are and who they are with. You are taking your power back from a ghost who never deserved it. The truth doesn't just set you free, it resets your entire vision. They didn't break you, they just showed you that your love was far too big, far too deep, and far too valuable for such a small, hollow, and cowardly soul. You weren't missing the signs because you were stupid, blind, or naive. You were missing them because you chose to see the best in someone who was way too busy hiding their worst. That choice to believe in the best, that makes you a good person. Their choice to exploit that belief, that makes them a coward. And you don't build a future with cowards. Walk away. Not because they deserve to lose you, though they absolutely do, and they will feel that loss when the newness wears off, but because you deserve to find the version of yourself that didn't have to check a phone at 3 a.m. You deserve a life where trust isn't a weapon used against you. You deserve peace. And peace starts the moment you stop asking, "Why did they do this?" and start asking, "Why did I let them stay so long?" The answer to that second question is where your healing begins. Stop being the architect of their comfort and start being the architect of your own freedom.